Hi, so I'm Kathy Bashanko and I am my brand. I do these podcasts that are called Real Human Design Stories where people share their story of how human design has impacted their journey. The very first thing I do is I upload that to Vidyo.ai, which I found that really having something to start with makes everything so much easier. If you do video podcasting, just the convenience of how easy it is to take and just get little clips of your conversation. I feel like Vidyo.ai is kind of the easy button. I do these podcasts that are called Real Human Design Stories where people share their story of how human design has impacted their journey. In the process of all of that, I realized how much I wanted to control certain things, but also how limited my energy was at certain times and how much I was draining my resources both from a time and money standpoint. In the process of creating this podcast, I really wanted to share little bits of the wisdom and make reels. Well, that took me so much time. It was really draining. I was just kind of venting to somebody about how, I'm so tired. I'm not having any time to work on, at that point, income earning portion of my job because I was spending so much time creating content. She said, hey, I saw this thing somewhere. She didn't even use it. She's just like, maybe try it. And that's how I found Vidyo.ai. One of the things that I know about myself from my human design chart is that I am here to master systems. And what I have been able to do is with my podcast, create this system, getting of the guests and preparing for it. But when it's done, the very first thing I do is I upload that content to Vidyo.ai and I use it multiple ways. So the first thing I do is I look at the chapter thumbnails that it creates for me automatically, and I copy that onto my phone, and then I listen to my content again. So I do spend a little time, but I am a very detail-oriented person. And so I listen to it again, and I tweak those chapter thumbnails to the titles that I feel work best for me and the times. But, that gives me a good starting point, which I've found that really having something to start with makes everything so much easier. The other thing I've done is I've created a template in Vidyo.ai for my reels. So when it gives me the suggested shorts, I just open it up and edit. Sometimes I move the beginning or the end a little bit. I find the ones that I like and I just hit use template. I change the guest's name in the text part. I changed the number of the episode in another part, but I was able to add a thumbnail that has the image of, or not a thumbnail, a little clip that has the image of my podcast logo on there. And I put my podcast music on it in the background. So it's very on brand. And that's really important to me. This has freed up my time to write my human design readings. And I'm doing it in a way that once it's done, it'll be automated in a way that I don't have to do anything. I just think it's like a big easy button, right? I don't know if they had it, but there was a commercial that I think some business office place had where it's like, what's the easy button? And you would just hit that button. I feel like Vidyo.ai is kind of the easy button. Well, one of the things I've noticed, and I've actually heard experts say this too, is that people are not so much looking for this polished whole production kind of realness anymore. They're really looking for the natural, relatable content. And so my content is based on these interviews I do with people where there's the two of us talking. So me sharing these little clips of conversation is really genuine, and I feel like people really relate to that. I've had people message me on Facebook and just say, I love your podcast. I want you to know how much I appreciate your podcast. And these aren't friends. These are just people that, have followed me or whatever. And that feels really good. And there's just something really simple about, people just talking and just sharing. And so it's really shown me the effectiveness of that in a way that's given me permission to not make everything so hard. If you do video podcasting, then just the convenience of how easy it is to take and just get little clips of your conversation and decide if you want to just share your guest speaking or share it. I use the same format to my reels, so when people see it, they just recognize it. So I have one template I use every time. I occasionally will flip it to where I'm on the top versus the other person, just based on sometimes the visuals of their background sometimes gets too busy with, the social media writings and stuff. The way that I can promote, and if you look at any big podcast on YouTube now, they've got tons of shorts that just kind of be like, oh, it might be an interesting conversation. And so that little teaser that because most people look at a conversation that's an hour long and they say, well, I don't really want to listen to something for an hour. But they'll listen to several clips. And if you've listened to like 2 or 3 1-minute clips, or even sometimes on Reels, I'll do longer ones that maybe are like 3 or 4 minutes. But if you've listened to a few of those and you found, oh yeah, there's real wisdom there, that's really interesting, that will oftentimes make the person say, okay, I need to listen to this because I like what they're talking about. And that's, it's a free commercial for you.